needs to hear this, but I'm only going to say this once. It is not the fandom's fault that the Avatar movie is widely available to the public, and it will not be the fandom's fault if Avatar Studios gets canceled because of it. The reality is, the only thing that should be blamed for whatever is to come next is Paramount. Period. End of story. The fact that people are getting online who work for the studio and talking about what the fans should and shouldn't do, what the fans are and aren't doing, how the fans need to respect or this, that, and third. I get the energy that you're trying to portray, and I get why you're nervous. But shift all that energy towards the corporation that has continued to fuck you over for 20 fucking years. Come out with a podcast and talk about how Nickelodeon fucked you over 15 years ago, and you can get some income that way. And talk about how M. Night Shyamalan didn't give a fuck about your project, to respect your project, to give a proper movie. And then maybe in another 5 years, when that NDA cancels out, you can talk about the Netflix deal. But this whole new shithole situation, once again, with Paramount, we are not to blame. I guess you guys might get canceled, and that just is what it's gonna be. And it's sad, and it sucks, but that's what happens when we don't talk about the politics, when we don't activism of it all, when we don't radicalize the inevitable. That's what happens.
And this is where my knowledge comes in handy, because yeah, she's right. They should absolutely do a podcast about all the trouble that they have had. Because you know who else has done that? Butch Hartman. Butch Hartman, since he left working with Nickelodeon, has talked extensively about how much Nickelodeon is constantly getting in the way of letting their people actually make good projects. And in case you don't remember who Butch Hartman is the creator of the Fairly Odd Parents. Butch Hartman is the creator of Danny Phantom. Butch Hartman is a creator of, Tough Puppy, which by the time that came out, I was a little too old to be watching that. But I know other people who were around that time loved that show. But I was a fan of it from a distance because Jerry Trainer was the voice of Tough Puppy, and I absolutely loved Jerry Trainer. But the things that people did not like about Fairly Odd Parents as it was ending, such as adding in the dog, such as adding in the fact that Timmy had to share his fairy because they wanted a girl demographic, that was all Nickelodeon. That was the executive saying that, we can't, aren't appealing to the girl audience as well enough. Who? Because I have sisters, and we were all sitting down watching Fairly Odd Parents just fine. They were the ones who actually wanted to add in Poof. They wanted, for some reason, to have a baby in the show. No reason why, just they wanted Butch to put in a baby. And it worked out in their favor because I actually do love Poof. But at the same time, in Rantastica's full video, she talks about the trouble that they had when it came to actually doing the Legend of Korra. I'm just like her. I was there as they said, we're only going to give you 1 season. Actually, we're going to go ahead and give you 2 more seasons, but we're only going to put those seasons on Nickelodeon.com. During that time, Nickelodeon.com was a terrible website. And then, season 4, we're going to go ahead and give it to you. We're going to put it back on the air. But then in the middle of season 4, they went ahead and said, you know what? We're actually just going to keep it on Nickelodeon.com. And to this day, I'm still not entirely sure if that was because of the fact that they didn't like the fact that Korra was gay. I remember seeing on Tumblr shortly after the series finale that they have an actual GIF of Korra and Asami actually making out, and because it came out so quickly after the show ended, I believe that was actual artwork that they created, and of course Nickelodeon said no. Not to mention the fact, if you were actually following the production of the live action TV show on Netflix, it was supposed to be full creative control, and then it wasn't. And then Brian and Michael walked away. And shortly after they walked away, Nickelodeon gave them Avatar Studios. And my whole personal opinion on that is because they were trying to apologize for, once again, allowing the rights to be sold to people who don't actually respect the property. So in conclusion, because this is longer than I want it to be, she's absolutely right. If Avatar Studios failed because of the leak or whatever, it has nothing to do with the fandom. The fans have been supporting this project for years. We love Avatar. Some of us love Legend of Korra. In my personal opinion, people who don't love Legend of Korra, they're not real fans. Just go on, slyly throw this in there if anybody wants the video. But Korra basically is Kyoshi. If you read the Kyoshi novels, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But back to what I was saying, the fandom has supported Avatar for years. We have been out here in the weeds. And she's right. I haven't heard anything, but if there are people out here from the studios who are complaining about the fans, no. Turn that energy on the people who have been screwing over this project since its inception. Brian and Michael created a wonderful universe. Aaron, who was one of the head writers on the original show, did great work as well. They deserve all the flowers that they can get, but they keep giving their property over to this corporation who could care less about them. Take the Butch Hartman route. Start speaking on how they screwed you all over. Make the money that way. Hell, use Kickstarter, crowdfund. Do you not remember that the official Avatar role-playing game was one of the biggest Kickstarters in history? How do I know? Because I was one of the ones who gave like $1,000 to that campaign. We have been supporting y'all forever. Go ahead, take whatever money you do have, buy back the rights from Nickelodeon, because clearly Nickelodeon and Paramount don't know what they're doing.